Perfect. Here, talk to Zeddy. I just seen something I gotta grab. Zeddy! Get in the chair. Talk to Jacob.
Well, everyone, welcome to this rough start of Lindemann Outdoors. We're still playing with our intros. Trying to have something fun for you guys. Fun for us, still. But yeah, no, welcome. We are back from Winnipeg. We're back in our studios. We're going to talk about the live scope and how it's one of the best game changers of all time. And then he's going to tell us about his new adventure for this spring turkey season. We'll get to that.
This is the new takedown recurve that I just purchased
Of course.
off the interweb.
Yep. You gonna use that old site?
Well, I'm cheating a little bit because I'm putting a sight on there because I'm trying to mess around with my anchor point a little to see where because rather than, so there's a couple different ways to aim a recurve. Like you can pull back and line it up with your eye and then use the tip of the arrow, and then you would gap like how far above or below the target you have to have a space from the tip of the arrow to where you're shooting for it to hit.
Yep.
Well, I want to cheat a little bit, so I want to have like a pin at 20 yards where I pull back and my anchor's dead on, and I can just put that, I can
That
just
one
anchor.
pin where you think it would be.
Yeah, put my pin there, way I'd go.
Yeah.
But that's for upcoming episodes. This bow was less than $200 on the internet. It's a Southwest Archery. So that's the other thing I'm going to do with this recurve turkey challenge. I'm going to do it with a budget bow, and all my stuff's going to be under $500.
Okay.
So we can put that whole tagline on there of,
Yep.
can you hunt with a cheap recurve bow and kill a turkey
For under $500.
Yep.
Yep.
So that'll be a good little bit
Yeah.
on there. But yeah, like you're talking about, we're back from Lake Winnipeg. Had a great trip. There's a pretty awesome fishing video out there of that. We also did a podcast episode when we were up there. That was cool.
Yeah. No, it was good.
With the boys.
Yep.
I thought the fishing video turned out awesome.
Yeah. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. Ice fishing Lake Winnipeg, big old greenbacks, and
yeah, kind of shows what it's all about up there, or at least how we do it.
yeah, just kind of a vlog style, just kind of fun. Not trying to be overproduced like some people, and just trying to keep it real. But
we don't have the attention spans for that.
Especially when it comes to fishing. Hunting, it's, I always say ice fishing is, as fishing in general is harder to film than like hunting. Hunting, there's like kind of this natural story, and you kind of are more, when deer and turkeys may or may not be coming, like fish, it's kind of like, oh, they're here, one will smack you. But deer, it's like, you can either hear or see, or, oh, it's prime time, they're more pattern animals.
Yeah, it's any random moment a fish can come and hit you. I mean, even with the live scope, we had some of them bigger fish come hit you from the side that they don't even show up on there. They stealth.
The live scope brings us to our main topic today. That live scope does not scare fish.
Yep, that's the buzz on the internet.
People are all live scope this, live scope that.
Yeah,
it's good.
Oh,
the
live scope spooked the fish.
No.
Blah blah blah. We can tell you for a fact.
No.
We had multiple 26-inch plus walleyes that were trying to eat our bait several times.
Yeah.
And the live scope wasn't spooking them. No. They just were uncoordinated or whatever, and they just couldn't get the dang thing.
Yeah.
And we had other times where they come in, like you had that one that went after you twice.
Yeah.
Missed you, and then I caught, and then it hit me.
And you smoked it.
Yeah, and I got it.
Yeah, and the people hating on it, we saved up, and you bought one. I didn't buy it. I don't have any money, but but like, it's night and day. And like we were talking about, the people who are complaining that it's scaring fish, like you said, they're just seeing more fish.
Yep.
It's not scaring away the fish. You're just you're able to see more fish now than you ever were because you can see
So
30, 40 feet left or right, you know?
let's expand on that a little bit. So one of the things the live scope does, and one of the things that I've learned from using it, which was mind blowing, there's a few things. Number one, there is way more fish down there than you have any clue about.
Yeah.
I mean, there is way more walleyes down there. I mean, you used to think, oh, there's 4 or 5 down there. No, there's tons of fish down there, depending upon
Yeah.
the body of water, of course. But you'll see 30, 40 fish, but you're only going to catch 4 or 5
Yeah.
because there's a lot of fish that they're just not feeding for whatever reason, or they're not turned on to. They're not looking to get a meal right now. They're they're just for
Or,
whatever reason they're
yeah.
just negative. Whether size of lure, I mean, a lot of these fish that people would say, oh, the fish are spooked, we're not catching them. It's probably because they didn't like the shape or size or color of your lure. To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, we had ones that were same color but different shape. They didn't like
Yep.
that one.
No. They
Same
wanted it to
color,
be a.
different size.
Yep.
It's weird. Fish are they can be really picky, and the ones that are gonna eat are just gonna eat. So it really doesn't matter, you know.
Yep. And
But
that's another thing that you learn with the live scope is fish behavior,
mm-hmm.
of how the fish are reacting to your lure, how they're, if that fish comes in and he comes right up to your lure and then he turns around and then he leaves,
Yep.
you need to change something.
Yeah.
It just, well, either that fish wasn't hungry or he didn't like what he seen. Because, like, we saw for sure, I mean, they would come to my lure and go hit yours, or they'd go
Yep.
right past mine and not even, they'd go after the one you were using.
Yeah. It's
What are you chewing on, dog?
no. And then you could also see just like it's you could see
No.
different structure and like the one spot where you're like, oh, it kind of like not like Lake Winnipeg's very no structure at all, but you could see it kind
Mm-hmm.
of like swoop down just a tiny bit, and there's a little
Yep.
fish over there, and then we went over there and caught more fish.
Yeah, we
Really
were
nice.
on just a little hump where our big fish spot was. That I'd say it's just a little hump that's out there. It's maybe a foot difference,
Yeah.
but that had fish on it, and then all the bait fish we were seeing on there.
Mm-hmm.
But to go back to like what you're saying, the live scope will show you, number one, a lot more fish down there. Number two, fish behavior, and then you can really kind of read, and I can see where people will get upset about these, as in people are going to catch a lot more fish, because we were able to figure out, between, and then we had a group of guys too that, hey, they like this certain color, they wanted the bubblegum tiger.
Yep.
You'll see that on the video. And then I had to, and then also they wanted a certain color and they wanted a certain size. And then coincidentally, we were seeing bait fish on our live scope that looked like the size and shape of the lures that the fish were liking. Well,
Yeah, because we're
not a
sometimes
coincidence.
when we were bored, we were messing with them, and you have our lure, and the bait fish school would come in, and you pull it up next to them, same size and rough shape,
Yep.
showing up on the live scope. Yes, you can't. It's not 100% detailed, but you're seeing that. So
Yeah, it's very, very telling. And then we figured out, okay, they're not liking this size of lure because we had some cloudy, cold front days, and so we lured, downsized our lures. I put that number 5 rip and wrap on in that chrome blue, and
yep.
boom, they were smacking it. Just a big difference.
Yeah, which is like, cloudy days, you move to the more metallic, shiny ones. Gets a little darker down there, and the brighter days, you can get more colorful.
Yep. So, live scopes do not spook fish.
Nope.
When you post that to our short or to wherever, Jacob, that's going to blow up the internet. People are
Okay.
going to lose their dang mind over
Yeah.
this. Trust
They
me.
don't scare fish. You're not You're not gonna use. They're not gonna outfish fisheries. No. You're still gonna catch the fish you're gonna catch. I mean,
It's
there's
fish.
limits for a reason.
Yep. There's fish that make you want to bite, or
And
that
the
want
big
to bite,
ones, you
and
throw
the
them
big
back
ones,
anyways.
right? Well, you should. But for
Yeah.
the people that said, "Oh, you can't go to Lake Winnipeg. You got to leave your live scope at home. You're not going to catch any big fish," and it spooks the big ones. It did not spook them fish one bit.
We were having a hard time finding the eater sized ones. The good eaters.
Yep.
When the
We
fish
had a
got
lot
a
of
little.
fish we had to throw back, and
Yeah. The fish were getting a little finicky towards the end, but the last fish we caught was a 28 incher, and it came right in,
yep,
smoked it.
yep, came in like a truck.
And you can see on the video, I zoomed in on the live scope. It's a little blurry, but you can see the fish are swimming around it, swimming through, and that's just the thing is like you said, live scope doesn't scare fish. You're just seeing more fish that you're not catching, and that's why you think they're
Yep,
scared of it.
that's what's frustrating. And then you're like, "Oh, I shut the live scope off when we started catching more."
Did
Did
you, or
you?
did you just hit the peak feeding time and the fish started biting?
Exactly.
Or did you find the right lure, or did you just hit a good school?
Yep.
You know, and I'm sure this happened. I grew up with the Vexlar, but like when the Vexlar came to be, it was
Oh yeah.
the Vexlar is louder than the live scope.
Yep. But it has more power. Okay, so if you're using your live scope and you have that thing cranked all the way up, and if you think that, well, you can adjust the gain on that. You can
Yeah,
turn it down to where it won't turn it turn your gain all the way down, put it in down mode. You can back off of that if you actually think that, hey, these fish aren't
yeah.
these fish aren't biting. And I think what people are seeing too is that, oh, there's all the fish are like 20 feet to my right. Well, there's always as we found out, there's
There's fish
always
in every
fish
direction.
20 feet to your right, and it's
Yeah, there's more fish in the water than you think, and
yep,
not all of them are gonna be hungry at the exact same time.
yep. And you think about when you're on a body of water that's 300 miles long and 10, 15 miles wide, whatever it is,
Yeah,
uh, you know, to get fish below you in an 8-inch hole is just is a miracle.
yeah.
You know, so yeah, I don't know. I think that's a myth. I mean, is it possible that if you're in really shallow water and you got that gain cranked up to 80%, and could it spook some? Possibly. I don't think so though. I think you're just seeing a lot of fish that aren't hungry, don't want to bite. Um,
Well,
they're
then it's
just
like the sonar. It's a sound. It's a like a. You can kind of hear it if you you hold the Vexlar up in the air.
yeah,
You can
it's
hear it. Well,
for sure.
I'm thinking you're like that can't bother them too much because ice fishing. The ice is making noise. Your lures are making noise. There's fish swimming around down there. There's
Yep. If anything scares the fish, it's a bunch of people walking around on the ice and drilling holes and vehicles coming
yeah.
by, and that's one thing we saw a
When
lot
we
with
were
the live
shallow.
scope. Yeah, when we were shallow. I mean, you need to get there, you need to sit down, you need to be quiet.
Yeah.
And then people drilling holes because we got to this really good popular spot early before everyone else, and as we had fish coming in on the live scope, and all of a sudden a vehicle would come, you would see those fish
Yeah. They
spook.
swim off really
Yeah,
fast.
it is pew away they went.
So that's scaring them way more than the live scope is.
Yes, that's
That's
another
why
thing. It's another thing we
trolling
learned.
works in the summer. You're
Oh,
away from the
absolutely.
boat.
Well, that's why you people use planer boards
Yeah.
because they want to get their lures out away from the boat. And then here's the crazy thing, but with walleyes, there's also times when you'll catch them right behind the boat in the prop wash because you know,
They're
uh,
angry enough.
yeah, it just depends, and that's the thing I like about fishing is you have to crack the code
Yep.
on what the fish want that day. And you found out, like with your lure was hot for 2 of the 4 days.
And then the next two, it
It
just
it, it was
wasn't.
not. The weather changed, the lighting conditions changed, the barometric pressure changed.
Yep.
Then we had to keep experimenting with lures, And that's one system that you and I have always done is we'll have in our, like a scientific experiment, we have our base, lures.
Yeah, we have ones that we know always work.
Yep. So one person will put that on,
Yep.
and then the next person will be trying different lures to see what the fish go. And then if we
Yep.
catch 3 fish on a certain lure versus 0 to the other person, well, that's no longer a pattern. Or no, excuse me,
It's
that's
no
no
longer a
longer.
coincidence. It's a
Yes,
pattern.
it's a pattern. Yeah, dyslexia cure for found. Anyway, but exactly. So that's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. So then it's time to switch colors.
Yeah. And we do
It's
that
like,
a lot, especially in the summertime when we're trolling, because you can, you
yep,
have multiple rods out, and you can see that.
yep. You can switch lures. We use crankbait snaps, so you don't have to tie them on. You just unhook them and put a new one on there, and away you go.
That's another thing. If you're still tying your lures on, go buy a bunch of crankbait snaps and put one
Yep,
on each of your rods.
yep. A number 2 crankbait snap is the
Yeah.
way to go.
It doesn't bother the fish.
No. Now,
It,
is there times where the fish are super spooky and yep, that might bother them? That could be true, but I don't want to catch those fish. Hell with those fish.
yeah.
I I don't like finicky, don't want to bite. I would rather, we had our buddies, the Johnsons, they put they were like, "Oh, these fish are finicky." They went to finesse rigs and they were catching a lot of fish.
Yeah.
And and you and myself and our stubborn butts, we were sitting there like, "Nope,
Rip and
nope,
wrap.
rip and wrap. You hit this rip and wrap or nothing."
It's rip and wrap or die for us, especially
Well,
on Winnipeg, because that
yep,
it's part of the thing. It's
that
like
should,
bass fishing with a frog bait.
yep. Oh, I was just gonna go there.
Yep.
Instead of ride or die, it's rip and wrap or die.
Yep. Rip and
And
wrap or die, frog or
frog
nothing.
or die. And it's the same thing with turkey hunting. Either you come in and you kick the crap out of the decoys, or I don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, you can just shoot a turkey from the road, or you can just shoot one," which is illegal, but they do it.
Dude, I don't want to like go off topic too hard, but like we're
Let's
switching
go.
topics because I saw this TikTok and I was like, dude, this guy is a total just not cool. He's a douche.
DB.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play this TikTok and I'll let you just react to it.
Decoys in general, I don't have a problem with. It's the fanning, the reaping. Yes. Yeah. Because, in my humble opinion, I just don't think there's enough turkeys right now that need to be, like, people are murdering turkeys. Yeah. Like, people are limiting out on their turkeys because they're using a fanning decoy. Like, it's that you go out into this big giant field, you throw a decoy down, and both the turkeys that were not paying attention to your calls because they're in this wide open field are literally running at you now, and you shoot them in the face. Like, those turkeys would have just kept on walking if you didn't have a fanning decoy. I don't know if that's 100% right for me to say, but I just think with the problems with turkey decline, I think it needs to be at least looked at. I get it, it's legal, and that's fine. If that's the way you want to hunt and it's legal, you go ahead. But I think you ought to reconsider it. That's my opinion. Decoys in general, I don't have.
No, sir. I want a fan decoy. I'm gonna shoot that turkey in the face because I have to shoot it in the face because turkeys will take over the planet if you don't shoot them in the face.
They will de-evolve back into giant velociraptors and kill us all. But okay, so like this guy, so that's a multi-factor problem there.
Yeah.
So what he's talking about, in a lot of the parts of the country, there's a decline in the turkey population. Now, the reason for this decline is it's not hunters using a certain decoy or whatever, because, the state manages the turkeys. The trouble is the raccoons, the skunks, the fox, the coyotes, the people don't trap anymore. There's all these nest predators.
Nest killers, nest
Yeah,
predators.
there's urban sprawl. There isn't habitat. People are taking CRP out so they can grow more corn, or they're bulldozing wood, small little woods or groves, the trees, so they can farm more acres. And so there's a habitat crisis. There's a predation problem. Weather's a factor. You got all these things, and these same hunters and sportsmen. It's like, okay, instead of sitting here whining you don't have turkeys, go out and start trapping, scoons, skunks and raccoons,
Yeah.
and these nest predators in the spring and the fall, which on our property that we
did
used
that.
to have, I caught 26 to 30 skunks a year off of that property, plus a ton of raccoons.
Yep. Some foxes here and there.
Yep, and the same thing people complain about up north. Oh, there's no rough grouse. Well, yeah, because nobody traps anymore, and you got
Yeah.
tons of skunks and coons and fox and coyotes and eagles and all this stuff. Well, on our property, it only took a couple years, and
Turkeys started showing up.
we had turkeys showing up. We had more grouse than anyone. The
Yep.
deer were there, but we had a predator problem, and we had to take them out. So that's what this guy's talking about. It isn't, let's not fight, infighting amongst hunters over what type of style we like to hunt with.
Yeah. That doesn't
It's,
matter.
No, there's a bigger issue at hand there, and that
That's
guy
like
needs to
saying
get out
live
there.
the reason that fishing lakes are getting overfished. No, it's because people are overfishing it and not,
Well,
people aren't managing it.
technology is going to make you a better fisherman. So
Yeah.
there's no debating that. Can I catch more fish than somebody that doesn't have a live scope? Absolutely. It doesn't guarantee I'll catch more fish, but if you're a good fisherman already, and you can use that tool to further figure out what those fish want, you're going to be more effective than somebody else that doesn't have it. All things equal. If you could take me back in time, I'll travel there with my live scope, and I can fish against myself that doesn't have one. I'm beating myself with that live scope. I mean,
Yeah.
hands down.
But it's like the fanning decoys. I don't like if that's the way you want to hunt.
He's
go
talking
hunt.
like the Reaper, where you, like Waddell does that, where he beats that turkey on the
Yeah.
ground and they do that fighting purr.
Yep.
And the turkeys just lose their mind, and it clicks on something in their dinosaur brain that it's kill
Yeah.
mode, and they
To
come
me,
running
that's
in.
badass. I mean, that's awesome.
It is.
If I could do, it's like rather than a buck. That's just Bueling and an elk and it comes storming through the brush right at you. Like that's just
Yeah, that's cool. But you gotta, his deal is there's a bigger issue at hand there, and it's that
yeah.
there's
The top comment is exactly what you said though. That's because fur prices are down and no one wants to trap anymore, and foxes and coons and skunks are eating all the eggs.
yeah. You just have to go.
The baby
You,
turkey.
if you want turkeys, you have to trap. So
Which
yeah.
why do you think is it just because fur prices have gone down? Why do you think trapping has not? It's not as popular. Even like growing up, it became less popular.
It's a social thing, It's the liberals saying that fur is bad and trapping is cruel and inhumane, and it's that the same people that think that we shouldn't eat meat. It's
Hello, Zeddy.
it's the same thing. Zeddy loves to be on the podcast. She's going to be 3 years old here.
Oh boy, she's our mascot.
Yep, she's our black lab killing machine.
But
But yeah, it's a that's what what it's about, is that you have to. It's a social thing. It's if it was popular for people to wear fur, the trapping would be through the roof, and there'd be fur prices like crazy.
Yeah.
So
That's
animals
what people don't get. It's all
Right.
a balance in an ecosystem, and it's like you have
all
to.
balance.
If you don't
Yep.
trap, the turkeys start dying. Well, the turkeys start showing up. Well, then,
Well, same
turkey-
thing with coyotes.
Yeah.
There's coyotes coming into people's yard, and wolves, and taking their dogs and cats.
Yeah.
As it happens all the time.
Yeah.
We're put on this earth to manage the wildlife. That's plain and simple.
Yep.
So it's out of balance, and that's right. But
That's even in the Bible.
it is.
God talks about how the animals are part of man's domain to protect
Yep.
and control.
Yep.
That's
And
why
we
he
gotta-
gave us animals.
But you get these people that they're living in their little bubble somewhere, and they're very disconnected, and they don't understand nature, and you'll say, well, why can't you just go to the store and get your meat like everyone else where animals aren't harmed? It's like, excuse me? Where do you think that hamburger came from that you're eating?
Yeah.
You know? Where do you think that steak comes from? Everybody
Yep.
loves chicken wings, but you know where they come from, right?
Yeah.
It's
Chicken's got it.
yeah.
I mean, chicken's
It's
got it rough.
it's just how, we need meat to survive. It's just how it's meant to be. There's a reason why it's here for us. It's so we can live. But
That's also, part of conservation, shooting turkeys in the face. Otherwise, they take over the world.
yeah, people don't understand how deadly a turkey could actually be. There's been people that have been chased down the road by turkeys. They know. Or in these
Turkeys are
cities.
mean.
Yep, they're mean. They just want to
They're
take
violent.
everybody out.
They're terrible. We have to hunt them,
It
or
needs
else
to be
it's
done.
not good for the rest of the world. It's something we have to do.
And then we make ours into breakfast sausage or hot dogs. I mean, it's
Turkey
lean.
dogs
Yeah,
are
they're
good.
lean. They're good for you. They taste good.
Yeah.
You know, it's I don't know. It just
I made barbecue turkey, like shredded turkey sandwiches.
yep.
Yeah, I put them in a crock pot overnight, but hey,
That's what you got to do for them legs. Because they got a lot of
delicious.
tendons in there. So you got to cook them low and slow until you can shred that turkey.
Yep.
And that's the best way to do it.
Pro tip: use your mixer for making cookies. Put that for the meat, and just
There you go.
that's
I
the
like
best.
it.
I did that because I just was like tired of using the 2 fork method. Like, this is terrible.
Yep. No, it's but back to ice fishing as we went way down the rabbit hole and through the woods.
Down the turkey hole.
We'll have plenty of podcasts on that coming up.
Yep.
But ice fishing is a wrap for us.
Yeah, that's it. We're done.
It was a heck of a season. Can't wait to go back. Can't wait for next year. But in the meantime,
Is
I'm
this the first? Hold on, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but is this the first season we didn't catch like a 40-inch northern through the ice?
it is. We weren't really fishing for them either.
That's true.
I caught a bunch of northerns down here in South Dakota.
I think if only northern I caught this year was on Lake Winnipeg, and it was like the little 20-incher.
Little slew shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no, we just didn't target them. And
No.
it's hard to find time. I mean, it is. It's you gotta work hard to get your time off in the outdoors, and
Well, if people, sponsors and stuff, and people start viewing this more, we can produce more hunting and fishing videos for
I
you
don't know
guys.
why these companies just don't pick us up to, you know, we'll put your products through the ringer. Trust me.
We'll test them.
We'll test them. We'll find you the best stuff out there.
Bows, guns, knives, fishing lure rods, fishing.
Yeah.
I think that's where, not to brag about us and how awesome we are, but we do it all. These companies,
That's right.
we're not just a bow hunting deer, or
No, we roll with the seasons.
we don't just fish walleyes on the ice, or we don't just, go catch trout in the summer. No, we do it. Every season we go through it.
Yeah.
So if you're a company out there and you're listening to this and like, I want someone to test out my product,
We're
have
it.
the people for you. We are the dummies for you. And if it doesn't break while we use it, then it's a good product.
That's a fact. And
It's
then if it
mostly-
works while we're using it, it's an even better product. So
Yep.
we got
There you
stuff that we use and it works good. We've tested a lot of stuff. You give me a hard time about, how many different broadheads I have from different companies and different fishing lures, and
We've tested out every single broadhead I feel like is out there.
yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. No, go ahead.
Well, we should probably introduce. We'll do the next video will be mostly about turkey hunting and your challenge that you're putting on yourself this year.
Yep.
But you're gonna try and shoot a turkey with a recurve.
Yep.
What broadhead are you gonna use? You gonna use a big expandable, or are you gonna use head chopper? Or are you gonna with the big foo arrows? Or are you gonna?
I was thinking I was going to shoot like a single bevel, like 150 grain
Just a
bee
prehistoric
stinger.
killer.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know, you are shooting a dinosaur, evolved dinosaur. You might as well
Yep.
use.
Yeah, I got a couple different broadheads that I could try. I might use expandable. We'll see. I gotta see what flies good. I'm just getting it set up now. I'm still waiting on I ordered a bunch of stuff on Amazon. So this is going to be an all Amazon ordered, under $500, hunting on a budget. You know, this bow. I think this bow is about just a little under $200.
What poundage is it?
This is a 50-pound recurve at 64 inches, so it fits my draw.
Takedown.
It shoots pretty smooth. I'm impressed with it. I should I'll try to video some of my setup so you can have all that content. But it's it's nice. It's just nothing fancy. I'm gonna have to put some. I think I'm gonna put some camo wrap on the limbs because it's a little shiny.
Yep.
For my liking, so I'm gonna camo wrap those out. Practice. I'm gonna set up a ground blind. Practice shooting. I'm gonna have to shoot it. I'm gonna have
Diagonally.
to shoot
Lego
leaning.
style.
Yeah, but no, I think it's gonna be cool. It's something I've never done before. I've never shot a turkey with a recurve, so I haven't seen very many people do it. I think the only people I've seen, I've only seen a couple people do it.
Yeah.
And get it on video and the whole 9 yards. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to do the whole process.
Yeah, before you go out west, we'll get you the GoPro set up and everything. So.
Yep. Film the whole thing, the setup, the building the arrows, the training, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And if I can do it, well, you can do it too. So,
Yeah.
it'll be
Well,
good.
folks, the next time you hear us, it'll be turkey time. Maybe
Couple
that'll be
weeks.
the next episode. Then we'll call it turkey time.
I like it.
Yep. Well, we're going to keep this one nice, short, and sweet for you guys. Go out, watch the video. It's awesome. We had a lot of fun doing it. Thank you for everyone listening.
Like,
Go out there.
subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. You
Tell
got
your
somebody who
mom.
likes hunting and fishing.
Tell your dads, tell your brothers, sisters,
Yep.
roommates, whatever you got. Tell
Like,
them.
subscribe.
God bless everyone. Go out, fill your freezer, the whole shebang. Any last words, Iceman?
Okay, you know what? Words just can't describe how excited I am for turkey hunting.
Yeah, me too.
Hit that outro music, son.
This will be the last time people hear that we're doing a little. I'm trying to do some beats, get in the lab and work out some new ones. So this is still pretty good though. Peace out.